Good morning, students. We'll start with the class. So in today's class, I'll be dealing with cerebral palsy. So in the previous class, we had started with neurological disorders that usually occurs in the children. So in that we started with meningitis. So what is meningitis? So meningitis is nothing but inflammation of the meninges. So what is meninges? Meninges, it is usually the outer covering of the brain and spinal cord. So then we saw regarding the classification of meningitis, pyogenic meningitis and tuberculosis meningitis. So in this too we have studied detailedly what is pyogenic. It is mainly caused by bacteria. Tuberculosis meningitis is mainly caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So where in this tuberculosis, like pyogenic, we go with giving them antibiotics and then we will be hospitalizing the children and then we will be giving treatment. And in case of tuberculosis meningitis, we start with anti-tuberculin drugs. Okay, we start with anti-tuberculin drugs, that is 12 months regimen. Okay, it is usually 12 months regimen. So where we usually give them treatment. So this is usually completely we studied about this meningitis, that is pyogenic meningitis and tuberculosis meningitis. So in this today's class, we'll continue with the next topic, that is cerebral palsy. We'll continue with the next class, that is cerebral palsy. So what is cerebral palsy? So cerebral palsy, it is a form of chronic motor disability. Okay, it is a form of chronic motor disability which is non-progressive, non-fatal, non-curable and results from damage to the growing brain. Okay, it results from the damage to the growing brain before or during the birth. Okay, before or during the birth or during postnatal period. Okay, or during postnatal period. So what is cerebral palsy? So cerebral palsy is a form of chronic motor disability. Okay, cerebral palsy, it is a form of chronic motor disability. So that which is a non-progressive, non-curable, non-fatal and results from damage to the brain during or before the birth or during postnatal period. Okay, or during postnatal period. So that is cerebral palsy. So what is cerebral palsy? So cerebral palsy is a form of chronic motor disability. Okay, it is a form of chronic motor disability that usually occurs due to it is usually a non-progressive, non-fatal, non-curable and that usually results from the damage to the brain that occurs during birth or before the birth or during postnatal period. So that is usually about the cerebral palsy. So what might be the causes for the cerebral palsy? So the causes mainly includes is that it is mainly caused due to genetic or chromosomal defects. Okay, it is mainly caused due to genetic and chromosomal defects and also due to other postnatal factors. Again, it also occurs due to postnatal factors such as hypothyroidism or in case of cultural influences. Okay, it also occurs due to cultural influences, that is due to this cultural beliefs. They will not be having they will not be doing certain things they will be doing certain things which is not good for the mother as well as baby's health. So therefore the cultural influences. So that is usually about this causes. So causes mainly it is mainly due to genetic and chromosomal defect, hypothyroidism and in case of cultural influences. Okay, that is due to cultural influences and it also can be occurring due to physical birth trauma. Okay, during physical birth trauma that might usually cause the cerebral anoxia. Okay, that might usually cause the cerebral anoxia. So this cerebral anoxia will be accompanied by intraventricular and subepidermal hemorrhages. Okay, it is also it is usually accompanied by intraventricular and subepidermal hemorrhages. So these are usually the causes of this cerebral palsy. So that is mainly genetic and chromosomal factors and then it might be due to hypothyroidism and cultural influences. Then it might be due to physical birth trauma, that is usually cerebral anoxia, that is accompanied by intraventricular and subepidermal hemorrhages. So subepidermal hemorrhages. So that is usually the causes of cerebral palsy. So what is cerebral palsy? It is usually a motor disability. Okay, it is usually a chronic motor disability which is non-progressive, non-curable and non-fatal, that is usually results from the damage to the brain before or during the birth or during postnatal period. So next is classification. So there are different classification of cerebral palsy. Okay, there are different classification of cerebral palsy. So in that there are mainly 4 different types of cerebral palsy. Okay, there are mainly 4 different types of cerebral palsy. So it mainly includes spastic cerebral palsy. Okay, it mainly includes spastic cerebral palsy. So this is the most common type of cerebral palsy. Okay, this is the most common type of cerebral palsy. So that is usually where there will be increased muscle tone. Okay, there will be increased muscle tone, tendency to develop deformities. Okay, then muscle tone increases, deformity occurs regularly, and then poor development of the posture. Okay, poor development of the posture. So that is usually about in older children. Okay, in older children you can see that they will be having development of seizures. Okay, they will be having development of seizures in older children. Okay, in older children. And the child may behave like they will be having quadriplegia, hemiplegia as well as paraplegia. So that is usually about this spastic cerebral palsy. So what is spastic cerebral palsy? This is the most common type of cerebral palsy where it is usually in muscle tone increases, and also they are having the tendency to develop deformities, and also they will be having poor development of posture. Okay, they will poor development of posture. In case of older children, they will be developing seizures. Okay, they will be developing seizures. So that is usually about this spastic cerebral palsy. So next is dyskinetic cerebral palsy. Okay, dyskinetic cerebral palsy. So this is usually they will be having uncontrollable movements. Okay, they will be having uncontrolled movements that disappears during sleep. Okay, they will be having uncontrolled movements that usually disappears during sleep. So that is dyskinetic cerebral palsy. So they will be having uncontrolled movements. Okay, they will be having uncontrolled movements that usually disappears during sleep. Okay, that usually disappears during sleep. So that is usually about this dyskinetic cerebral palsy. So next is ataxic cerebral palsy. Okay, next is ataxic cerebral palsy. So this is usually what happens. The main affected part of this, it is usually the cerebellum. Okay, the main affected part, it is usually the cerebellum. Okay, the main affected part, it is usually cerebral. So this is usually they will be having, it is mainly characterized by loss of coordination, and also the child appears clumsy. Okay, the child appears clumsy. So that is usually they will be having lack of coordination, and also the child appears clumsy. Okay, the child appears clumsy. So that is usually ataxic cerebral palsy. So ataxic cerebral palsy, in this the affected area, it is usually the cerebellum. Okay, the affected area is the cerebellum, and in this type of cerebral palsy, the child will have loss of coordination. Okay, the child will have loss of coordination, and overall the child looks clumsy. Okay, overall the child looks clumsy. So that is usually about this. Ataxic cerebral palsy. That is usually about this ataxic cerebral palsy. So next is rigid cerebral palsy. The next is rigid cerebral palsy. So in case of this rigid cerebral palsy, so normally it is rare. Okay, it is usually rare cerebral palsy. So normally they will be having rigidity. Okay, the child will have rigidity. Okay, the child has rigidity like both in the flexor as well as extensor muscles. So the child will have rigidity in both flexor as well as extensor muscles. Okay, in both flexor as well as extensor muscles. Okay, in both flexor as well as extensor muscles. So that is usually about this. It is occurring during rest as well as during movements. Okay, so this rigidity can be seen both in the rest as well as in the during the movement. So that is usually about this rigid cerebral palsy. Okay, these are usually the different types of cerebral palsy. The first is spastic cerebral palsy. This is the common type of cerebral palsy where the muscle tone increases, and also they will be having posture movement. The posture will not be proper. Okay, the posture will not be proper. They will be having they develop disability very soon, and the postural movements will not be there. So that is usually seen. And next, in case of dyskinetic cerebral palsy, so this is usually they will be having uncontrolled movements. They will be having uncontrolled movements. So next is ataxic cerebral palsy. So here usually it affects the cerebellum, and they will be having loss of coordination. Okay, they will be having loss of coordination. So next is rigid cerebral palsy. So here usually rigidity develops in the flexor and extensor muscle, and this rigidity will be seen both in the movement, during movement as well as during rest. So that is usually about this different types of cerebral palsy. So next is clinical symptoms. Okay, the symptoms that usually develops in the cerebral palsy, it is usually they will be having asymmetric movements. Okay, they will be having asymmetric movement. Its symmetrical movement will not be there. Okay, they will be having asymmetrical movement. So that is usually that they become irritable. Okay, they will become irritable, and also they will be having difficulty to feed, swallow, or poor sucking. Okay, they will be having difficulty to feed, swallow, as well as poor sucking thing. So that is usually there, and then they'll be having high pitched cry. Okay, they'll be having high pitched cry. Sometimes they have feeble cry. Okay, they'll be having high pitched cry, or sometimes they'll be having feeble cry. Okay, sometimes they'll be having feeble cry. So that is usually there. And next is usually what happen in case of infants, they'll not be able to gain weight. Very slowly they'll gain weight. Okay, very slowly they'll gain weight. Okay, so that is usually in case of infants, they'll be having whether they'll usually be having, they'll not gain weight very fastly. Okay, they'll not gain weight very fastly. They'll gain weight very slowly. Okay, they'll gain weight very slowly. So that is usually there. And also the gross motor development will be delayed. Okay, gross motor development will be delayed, and then posture will be abnormal. Okay, so they'll be maintaining abnormal posture. Okay, they'll be maintaining abnormal posture. So that is usually there. Next, delayed or defective speech. Okay, delay or defective speech. So that is usually about the symptoms of the cerebral palsy. So what are the symptoms of cerebral palsy? Symptoms of cerebral palsy is usually they'll be having asymmetric movements, then they'll be having a high pitched cry, then also they'll be having like high pitched cry, difficulty in feeding, swallowing as well as sucking. Then in infants they'll not be able to gain weight very fastly, then failure to follow, like they'll be having gross motor development. Okay, they'll be having delayed gross motor development, then abnormal postures they maintain, and also delay or defective speech. Okay, delayed or defective speech. So that is usually the symptoms that is usually seen. It is mainly delayed or defective speech, abnormal gross motor development, then they should be having difficulty in feeding, swallowing and sucking, and in infants usually they will be not be able to gain weight fastly, then excessive high pitched cry will be seen. So these are usually the symptoms that is usually seen in case of cerebral palsy. So next is diagnostic test. So diagnostic test we have to go with history collection, physical examination should be done, history collection and thorough examination should be done during prenatal, perinatal as well as postnatal period. Okay, so thorough examination should be done through postnatal, prenatal and perinatal, as postnatal, perinatal and prenatal. Then we go with CT scan and MRI scan. Blood test should be done. This is mainly to rule out if there is any infection or toxins. Okay, if there is any infection or toxins, that is usually to be done. Then cognitive function should be assessed. That is psychological testing should be done to assess the cognitive functions. Okay, to assess the cognitive functions. So that is usually the diagnostic test that is usually done. So diagnostic test that we go, it is mainly history collection, physical examination, cognitive test should be done. Then we go with MRI and CT scan should be done. Then thorough examination should be done during prenatal, perinatal and postnatal period. Then blood testing it is done mainly to check, rule out there is presence of any infection or toxins. Then psychological test it is done mainly to check the cognitive function test. So that is usually about this diagnostic evaluation. So management we go with like disabilities should be corrected. Okay, so we go with correcting the disabilities first. Then we have to go with giving them anti-spasticity medications. Okay, anti-spasticity medications such as dantrolene. Okay, such as dantrolene and diazepam. So anti-spasticity medication should be given such as dantrolene and diazepam should be given. Then anti-reflex medication should be administered such as metoclopramide or metoclopramide should be administered. Like anti-reflex medications should be administered such as metoclopramide should be administered. So that is usually then this is usually about this medications that is usually given, that is in case of correcting neurological defects, that is neuromotor defects. Then we have to go with administration of antispastic medications. Then we have to go with administration of anti-reflex medications. So that is usually the medication that is usually given to correct this cerebral palsy. So if orthopedic damages is there, then we have to move with this orthopedic surgeon, where they will be correcting the dislocation and the fractures that is occurred. Okay, dislocation and the fracture that is usually occurred. So this is usually about the cerebral palsy. So what is cerebral palsy? Cerebral palsy, it is usually the disease. Motor disability will be there, and due to this what happened, they will not be having like non-progressive, non-fatal and non-curable and results from damage to the brain that occurs during birth or before birth or during postnatal period. So this is usually about the cerebral palsy.